Let's get right into it. As a professional contractor, you already know that your reputation is built, quite literally, from the ground up. So today, we're doing a deep dive into some serious heavy-duty structural protection. We are walking through the definitive installation guide for Drizoro Maxseal Foundation. I've engineered this explainer specifically for you, the pros out on the job site, to make absolutely sure your next below-grade waterproofing gig goes off without a hitch.
Look, we can all agree that callbacks on below-grade foundation jobs are just a total nightmare. Honestly, you're probably sick and tired of dealing with failed waterproofing membranes, the peeling, the cracking, the giving in to ground moisture. When you're tackling basements, elevator pits, and retaining walls, standard solutions just kind of fall flat against aggressive hydrostatic pressure. You really need a heavy-duty, cementitious solution to handle the heavy lifting. Okay, let's dive into this. We'll start with the blueprint, move into essential surface preparation, detail exactly how to mix the formula, cover the first coat application, and finally wrap up with the second coat and finishing.
Phase 1, the blueprint. We're looking at specs and uses for heavy-duty protection.
The biggest takeaway here is that Maxseal Foundation isn't just a basic surface coating. No way. It is a heavy, cement-based system formulated to handle both positive and negative hydrostatic pressure. So what does that actually mean for you on the site? Well, whether water is actively pushing against the membrane from the outside or trying to push it off from the inside, it holds firm. It actually becomes part of the substrate with incredible adhesion. On top of that, it's totally unaffected by aggressive soil salts and acids, making this non-toxic formula the absolute go-to for harsh below-grade environments, like basements, car parks, and elevator pits. Moving on to part 2, essential surface preparation. This is hands down the most critical step before mixing.
All right, here is a massive gotcha moment that catches a lot of guys off guard. Think about standard membranes. Usually, you're out there fighting the weather, checking the radar, praying for a sunny day just to get a bone-dry surface so your product actually sticks, right? Well, Maxseal flips the script entirely. It absolutely must be applied to a thoroughly wet surface. It relies entirely on that moisture to properly cure and bond with a masonry or concrete. Because of that, your prep work is super straightforward, but completely non-negotiable. Step 1, you have to thoroughly clean the masonry or concrete substrate to get rid of any debris. Clear out anything loose that could block the product from reaching the pores of the wall. Then, step 2, dampen that surface heavily, and I mean really saturate it. You want to do this right before applying the product so that heavy cementitious mix has the exact moisture it needs to integrate right into the substrate. Section 3, mixing the formula correctly. Timing is everything here. We're dealing with a chemical process here, so you've got to respect the clock. Let's build out the perfect mix timeline. At minute 0, you combine your powder with liquid, either water or a 3-to-1 ratio of water and max grill. By minute 3, you need to be blending this using a Drizoro mixer to get a quick, totally homogeneous result. No dry lumps allowed. Then patience pays off. By minute 15, you should have let that mix stand completely undisturbed for a solid 10 to 15 minutes. Now, that 10 to 15 minute wait time actually has a specific name in the trade. It's called fattening. This resting period is crucial. You can't just mix it up and instantly slap it on the wall. Fattening lets the chemical reaction begin, allowing the cementitious mix to achieve that perfect, thick consistency you need to bridge cracks and fill voids effectively. You've got to give it the time it needs. All right, part 4, first coat application. Let's lay the groundwork. I want you to burn this number into your brain, 1 to 1.5. That represents kilograms per square meter per coat. Maxseal Foundation is a 2-coat system, and hitting this exact coverage rate on the first pass is what guarantees the structural protection and hydrostatic resistance we talked about earlier. Seriously, whatever you do, don't try to stretch the product thinner than this. To hit that coverage rate right, you need to put in a little elbow grease. You've got to use a Drizoro brush or a stiff broom to aggressively apply the mix. Remember, you aren't just painting a living room wall. You are physically working the product deep into the substrate. You want to push it into every single pore, seal off any missing mortar lines, and fill all those microscopic hairline cracks and voids. That aggressive brushing is exactly what transforms a superficial layer into an integrated, heavy-duty barrier. Once that first coat is on, step away. We are on to part 5, second coat and finishing, completing the 24-hour system. Now, what's really interesting here is how the rules shift from day 1 to day 2. For coat 1, you applied it to a wet surface with a brush or a broom, and then you waited a full 24 hours to cure. Coat 2 happens the very next day. Because your groundwork is already set and the pores are filled, your tool options open way up. You can absolutely stick with a brush or broom, but if you want to speed things up over a large area, you can grab a roller or even an airless sprayer using a 3 to 5 millimeter tip. Honestly, this is a huge benefit for contractors. Once that second coat goes down and the system fully cures, you basically just treat the membrane as a normal concrete surface. It's incredibly versatile. It can be rendered over, painted, or even tiled right on top. It gives you this ultimate heavy-duty water barrier without putting a bunch of limits on the finishing trades coming in behind you. To sum up what this system is really capable of, the manufacturer hits the nail on the head. It gives great protection to foundation concrete thanks to its high resistance to aggressive waters. By nailing the precise prep, mixing, and two-coat application steps we just covered, you are absolutely guaranteeing that level of uncompromising protection for your client's structures. So, here's the final question to think about. Are you ready to upgrade your workflow and eliminate below-grade foundation leaks for good? By integrating Maxseal Foundation into your projects and sticking to the step-by-step guide, you aren't just protecting the foundations you build, you're protecting the reputation of your business. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer. Keep these workflows handy for your next site prep, and I'll catch you next time.